Oh,
Right, so we've just got Terry's hands here. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to this edition, this edition of Audit Do Why Don't You Trust Rapport? We can't get rapport, Terry, without eye contact.
oh yeah. It's me! Surprise!
Oh,
Oh, yeah, bring it back, bring it back, bring it back. Bring a bag. That'll do. Or you can put that thing up again.
Oh dear.
Sorry,
Yeah,
mate.
good, Ian. I like that one. Yeah, bring a bag or just put your paper in front of your face. Uh,
Well, that's how to break rapport.
why
Stick your
don't
feet
you
in the
trust the
bag.
poor? Now, you two, I was wondering, seriously wondering, when I say it, I'm not doing that because that breaks rapport. That
That's funny. Yeah, 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 yeah.
rapport.
You've done bloody well then.
Only saw you do that once, but it was brilliant.
I was there too, and sober.
By then,
I went to school with her.
what? By then, oh, we finished already.
Oh, and sober. Sorry. Carry on, Fiona. Keep discussing what you were discussing.
Right. Be weird to go to school with Helen back, though, wouldn't it? So,
Oh, dear me.
uh,
Hmm. This is
anyway,
what happens when we're left to our own
I'm going
devices.
to try and start this thing. Right. Why don't you trust rapport? Or should it be why don't you trust rapport or trust rapport? Why don't you trust rapport or trust rapport? How do you say it?
I thought you were stuck for a minute there. I thought the sound
It
track
was a
was
bit
stuck.
repetitive. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. Right. Choose. One of you put your hand up. Brilliant. Thanks, Ian. So that means
Sucker.
you go first.
Yeah, I can get it wrong. I can get it wrong. I don't have to be any
Wrong.
good at it.
There's no wrong.
Oh,
In what do you want to cover? What do you want to make sure comes out this evening?
um, it's rapport is it's the foundation to success as a driving instructor. If you've got really good rapport with people, you can talk about everything you need to talk about in the car in a neutral, non-judgmental, collaborative way. If you haven't got rapport, it's you as the expert, giving your expert opinions on how good or bad the driver actually is.
Yeah.
And that's not going to encourage people to explore what's happening behind the scenes. They're just going to deal with the behavior that caused that conversation. I think, anyway.
I totally agree. And I think while I was doing some research, uh, I looked
SWOT.
at the difference between trust and rapport.
Mm-hmm.
Because trust is talking about when we empathize with somebody or there's an empathetic relationship, there's authenticity, similarity, and shared experience. That is something that we have in a car. And that is something that I think often gets mistaken for good rapport. When you just have that sort of shared experience and one person says something to the other, but that's not the shared experience that rapport brings. So there's a trusting relationship and then there's trust rapport.
Mm.
Trust rapport because um, it's only when you have good rapport with somebody that you can be honest as well. So I don't think rapport is always about being cushy, comfy, cozy, smoochy. I think there are occasions when good rapport means telling somebody the truth And it's that authentic truth. Like, I'm a bit uncomfortable with something at the moment. Really? Yes. I need to hold on when we go round roundabouts. It's those kind of things. Those kind of things. So, Terry,
What now? Leave me alone, woman.
Yeah, I don't know. He turns up on time and he's grumpy.
turns up at all.
I just want to say that I did go to school with a Helen back. And she was almost late every time, but she arrived with just in time.
Her best mate.
The best mate. What was the question?
She got
No
a,
relation.
she got
Sorry.
a job with Ruth Tyler later.
I was going to say, are they related to Just In Case?
Yeah, yeah, cousins. Yeah. What was the question? I've forgotten now. I've lost.
Just rapport, trust rapport.
Trust rapport. Yes, good idea. Ian, comments?
I agree with Terry.
Right. What makes rapport easier then? What are the tools? Let's go for those. What are the tools we need to really get that real excellent rapport with our people in the car?
I think.
Oh, no, Ian. Ian.
I think it starts with curiosity and an interest in hearing the answers to the things you're curious. So asking questions about things that make you curious about what you've seen in the car or whatever, and then listening to those answers before you do anything else.
Absolutely.
Getting something from the driver about whatever the reason for the conversation is, or just having a conversation. Is this microphone working, by the way?
No, we were just doing the pauses to show that we were listening.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the scary thing is that we're a bit long at times, and I was sweating. My hands were all sweaty.
Yeah, that's how to make it go wrong with the pauses. I agree. Fill a pause. Don't wait for the uncomfortable gap. It was just wonderful to see what else you come up with.
What you else come up with? Did you bunk off English that day?
That's great England. That is what not, eh?
If and I did, Terry. If and I did, that would have been a good idea. Oh, I love that phrase. I just love that phrase. Heard it today. It's that curiosity. It has to be curiosity, but it has to be curiosity with listening in it. Because there's no point in asking a really good question with curiosity and then just totally ignoring what the answer is. Fiddling with your pen, looking out the window.
What you mean? We've got to listen as part of rapport as well. Oh.
I think it's important to discuss the differences between like rapport and trust rapport, because I would hazard a guess that I reckon about 95%, no, 90% of instructors have like rapport in car. 5% have no rapport, and 5% have trust rapport. I'm going on the figures like 41,000, whatever it is now. So I think it's important to talk of the differences between like and trust. Over to you, Ian.
Well, like rapport is superficial, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's
I think that's a good word.
It's it you know, you can like a dog. It's not going to help you drive, is it? You know, you could put a pretty dog in the car and everybody would like it.
Oh, what?
They wouldn't trust it
Are
to
we
tell
getting
them
too personal now, Ian?
I think
Yeah, I
it's
think keep it superficial. That's a good word. I like superficial. Yeah, I'm nicking that. I'm nicking that. We tend to do the rapport bit because it's something we should do, and we're spending like hours with this person in a confined space, so we should get along.
well, you cannot always get along, but you can still have rapport.
Yeah, but they want to spend an atmosphere that's going to be like a nice atmosphere, and that misses the point of rapport because rapport is about the learning,
I
and
think
like
if you
rapport
spend
is fine.
I think if you spend too much time wanting to be liked, you're not going to have the difficult conversations.
Exactly. Exactly. It's not about being liked. Like rapport is great, and I understand why it's important and everything, but we need to go further than that. We need to go into the trust mode, the kind of conversations that coaches have in car. Because coaching don't work without rapport, in my opinion.
Yeah, goes back to my word for that, which was the honesty. Because you have to have those honest conversations. You have to be able to say how it is, or ask the nitty-gritty questions.
Yeah, and get the nitty-gritty answers. That really, really scared me. And that's the difference in like and trust, I think. I think someone with trust rapport is much more likely to get those deeper answers.
The honesty back.
The honesty back, yeah.
Because it's only with those kind of honest conversations that you're going to get to the bottom of those post-test conversations that we ought to be having. It's no use saying, and I am uncomfortable. I know I've said it myself, and there's all sorts of times where I get uncomfortable with something now that I would say, and it's the phrase, I always tell all of mine. Like, I was told not to run in the school in the corridor. I would run in the school corridor. You just make sure there's no one coming, right?
Yeah.
And it's just because we tell people things, if you don't have that conversation that's open and honest, if you haven't got the eye contact, if you haven't got that genuine, I am focused on you and what you're saying, it's that intense focus. I think there's a focus, because I used to think, why is it I don't get on with some people? Why is it what was I missing with the rapport? Why wasn't it this trust rapport that you say? And it was because I was uncomfortable with something about the person. I'm not boring you.
No.
There was something, but I was missing something. So I'd have to find out more about the person to work out why I was uncomfortable with them. And it isn't their problem. It isn't them. It was something to do with me. And there was something that I was missing. So if rapport was off, if I felt uncomfortable about going to see that person, I was doing something wrong. Because it's not my job to judge or decide or make up my mind about this person. It's my job to get them to be safe in the car on the road.
Can I share something before I forget?
Is it going to smell?
No.
I just wondered why you were leading over.
No, I've got an itchy back. You know, when going back a few minutes when we talked about trust rapport in the conversations, something went boom in my head, which was, and I know you two will know this, those conversations, those difficult conversations that we have through trust rapport, if the trust rapport isn't there, those individuals are never going to have those conversations with themselves, which is what the conversation is all about. Does that make sense?
They're not going to be introspective about their decisions, you mean?
Yes, they're not going to. If we aren't there to encourage, and if they don't trust us to help them get to the bottom of it, they're never going to have those conversations, and they're never going to learn from the mistakes that they've made and prevent them from becoming even bigger later on. And that was a real light bulb moment for me. Thank you, yous too. Because that kind of joined the circle up a little bit in my own head.
Invoice is on the way, no problem.
It's all right. Do you take checks from Bank of Toy Town?
Yep.
Excellent. I shall write it on a Lego brick and throw it at you the next time I see you.
Plop it in his peaty drink. I was just thinking, have you ever had moments where you think you've overstepped the mark? I did, donkeys years ago. I think it was the point where I knew I needed to do something differently because the job, I think it was about 6 years in, and it was driving me nuts. And I can remember it was a young man, and I kept hearing these kind of phrases. Well, yeah, but I can't be bothered. And yeah, all right. And it was really apathetic, and it was driving me nuts. And I remember driving home after I'd said what I said, thinking, I'm going to get in trouble. There's going to be letters and emails and phone calls from parents saying, how dare you speak to my son that way? Because what I heard myself saying was, do you think you'd try just a little bit harder if you were paying for your own sessions? And I just left it, and I said, I'm sorry, I snapped. And I thought, oh, he's going to cancel the next week. Next week, he got in the car, right as rain, completely different. And I'd forgotten because it was a whole week. Memory like a sieve. And I said, you're really different. What's going on? He said, really thought about what you said last week. I said, thank you, because it's making a massive difference. Absolutely. And it was that. It was too brutal, wasn't it? I wasn't proud. And again, I remember it because I was uncomfortable. But it was that honesty. But it was brutal. Who's going to have a go? Go on, Terry, have a go at me now.
Why?
Because it's been a while.
Hang on. I know what you're doing here. You're setting them up for a trap, because if he does, that just undermines everything we've talked about on these before, doesn't it? I'm catching on.
He's a white, isn't he?
Up here for thinking, down there for dancing.
And we see the dancing bit as well.
The point I'm making is it was actually the right thing to do in a way, but I don't think it was the right thing to do. It would have been better to come out in a different way without the frustration, because then this is what I mean. If I'm uncomfortable, there's something I'm doing wrong. I should have been just honest with him and said it in a really calm way and said, have you thought? No, but I let the emotion get in, and I don't know. I'm thinking about it.
That's the power of reflect. Oh, hang on, where'd I go? That's the power of reflection, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
If you hadn't got it wrong, you wouldn't have got it right so many more times since then.
absolutely. Absolutely. But these are the things that made me think I've either got to get out of the industry or do something else. Luckily, I did something else for me because I've had a lot more joy from the job.
Lucky for everybody, I think, because the three of us wouldn't be sat here if you weren't there. There'd only be two of us.
Yeah.
See? Maths is wonderful.
Yeah, and no one would understand a word.
Exactly.
He'd be
So we're
speaking
drinking
with a
whiskey.
wonderful, genuine accent, and Terry would be trying to copy it for the whole evening.
No, I wouldn't do that.
If in
So
it were
we
possible.
what?
If in it were possible.
Yeah,
If it
it
was
was possible. So are we going to give some hints and tips about how to try and get some trust rapport going in the car?
I think you've just landed yourself in that. Come on then. So
Well. Something I always say to my PDIs: to get trust rapport, you used the word earlier, Fiona. I can't remember what you said, and it just fits with this. You are trying, or you're attempting to show that you are the same as the person you're with. Because as Tony Robbins says, people like people who are like themselves. And so you want to show this person next to you that I am the same as you. You can trust me. We can have those conversations we need to have. And we can have those conversations, as Ian brilliantly pointed out, that you can go away and reflect on and have these conversations with yourself. Because I'm like you. Because look, I'm using the same language as you are. You know, you called him a person, I called him a person, not a pedestrian. You called it a truck, I called it a truck, not a lorry. I didn't correct you with my language. I'm listening to your language and I'm using the same language as you. If you gonna kill her. You know, if you say something like I see what you mean, I'm gonna say something else that's visual. So if you say, I heard what I hear what you're saying, I'm gonna say, does that sound okay to you then? All these little things, this non-verbal stuff and little listening properly, listening with a purpose, as I like to call it. I'm seriously I'm gonna zoom you out of this room, both of you, and put you in the waiting room. Talk to myself. those little tricks, for want of a better word, suggest to the person, I'm like you. You can trust me. How did that make you feel? I'm going to get an answer. Probably. That isn't. Okay, I suppose. Because, okay, I suppose doesn't help anybody.
it's the best way to kill rapport, isn't it? If you want to kill rapport with someone else, you just go, yeah, whatever, and look away.
Is he all right?
I'm just one of the Chuckle brothers.
Ah, bad one.
Don't like to brag, Matt.
When you get good at looking at the non-verbal clues that you're talking about, Terry, non-verbal clues as well as the verbal clues, but when you really do read the non-verbal clues, you can tell who's getting on. When you go into a restaurant and if you people watch, you can see, or a bar or anything, or a pub, you can see the people who are really getting on because they all have a drink at the same time.
And you can tell how long couples have been together and whether they are together if you pick up on the clues. And that's what you're doing. And that's what you should be doing in the car as well. You should be watching and listening and picking up on those clues, using your intuition, to figure out what's the best way that I can show this person I'm like them, and they can trust me because I'm going to trust them, and then we can have those honest conversations.
But you can't go straight in with the honest conversations, can you? Someone gets in the car and you say, "So, what was going on in your head when you were walking to the?" You can't. You've got to do the small
No.
talk as well.
Yeah, exactly. That's why like rapport is important. But you've got to go deeper. And it's not about, oh, they told me everything about their boyfriends and girlfriends and their parents. That's not what we're talking about. Because they're telling you about other people. You need to find out how that trust rapport enough, deep enough that they tell you about themselves. Not what happened with boyfriends and girlfriends or parents or friends or whatever. Because that's great. They trust you enough for that. But they've got to trust you enough to get the stuff out that's inside of them about them.
So how long does it take for that trust to build?
Good question, young Lavelle. I don't think there's an answer.
I think there is if it's about disclosure, as in, if you make yourself vulnerable first, if you're the first one to be seen as vulnerable, then people are more open to that. So there is something about that. We can't expect people to get in the car and be vulnerable straight away. And it is a vulnerable thing to talk deeply about driving and those kind of experiences. And we need to do something first. I suppose maybe if we talk about a similar experience that we've had and talk about the discomfort we feel about it, I think that can really help.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think again, it's about that honesty. It won't work any other way. It won't work.
People always want someone else to go first. I think it's human nature. Once someone else has gone first, people are happy to join in. Like,
Yeah.
who's got a question? No one until one person puts down and asks a question, then the whole flood come out.
Yeah.
You know, right down the other end of the scale to Amazon reviews. People read reviews because they want to know someone else has bought the thing first and likes it.
Yeah.
So I think you're absolutely right. We've got to be the first to offer that insight into ourselves.
Yeah.
To then say it's okay in this car, in this space it's okay because look, I'm the first to do it.
And I don't mean talking about our boyfriends, girlfriends, family members, and I don't mean that. I mean the honesty about how we have felt doing things, or how it feels to have someone driving too close behind us. Anything like that. And then to say the variety of things that we'll go through. Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
So
So
go on.
go on. No, you go. Your ladies first.
I was just thinking about the type of questions, that it's the questions need to be engaging. Some people keep saying, can I just have a list of good questions?
It kind of misses the point, doesn't it?
I love that one. I love that one. If you're listening, a good question just pops into your head. If you properly listen to people and you're curious.
There you go. That's what I was going to add. Yeah, if you're listening and you're curious, the question just comes. Just like when you're talking to your mates.
Mm-hmm.
You don't
take
go out, you don't invite that.
Out to the pub, do you?
Exactly. As I'm going to say.
It
just happens.
We can nick one of Kev's ones. Ooh, tell me more. Sure. Or what else? We could nick his, but don't tell him.
No, we're not telling him. No.
Anyway, so he's too busy.
Right. What's time? Are we going to wrap up?
Yeah, we'll wrap up.
No, it's Rapport, not wrap up. Rapport. It was a coffee brand in the 80s.
No, I can't spell.
Okay. So have a go, people watching. Have a go. See what you notice.
Be interested. listen. Yeah.
Yeah. And get in touch if you need any more help or any more, with one of us.
Get in touch with Ted.
When's the next one, Fiona?
The next one happens to be Tuesday the 15th at 6:30.
Tuesday 15th.
We haven't actually worked out what we're doing yet.
I'll have a think.
We'll have a think. We'll put the blurb out. If anyone wants to share, I'll put the links in for the YouTube video. So if anyone wants to catch up on YouTube, very welcome. So it'd be great. It'd be great to have everyone here again, and you two as well, please.
Fine, whatever.
Remember.
Whatever.
Thank you, guys. Right, strike a pose after after 3.